Okay guys, I'm on holiday. I'm having issues with all my equipment, so this has to be a very quick video. It's very difficult to upload. So markets just keep going up, not bearish yet. I do feel like they're really running out of steam though. I mean, the S&P has not really encountered absolute resistance at 460, but I feel like it's getting topped out here. You can tell from yesterday's weakness, let's say. The Nasdaq, same thing. It's the S&P and the Nasdaq that are running out of steam, whilst the Russell and the Dow have actually found a bit of strength finally. You can see the Nasdaq and the S&P very close to their next resistance. So S&P 460, Nasdaq 390, big round numbers, and I think they're just getting a bit exhausted just before that number, which makes sense. The Dow Jones, though, look at that, finally broke out of its 34,000, let's say 600-ish level. So that was quite impressive. Finally, a very late comer to the party. But now the S&P and the Nasdaq are near resistance, so I don't even think it will get to this 35,500 level. And you can see yesterday's candle, bit of a reversal signal. The Russell also late comer, but that's sort of found a bit of strength recently before the Dow Jones. And that also, that actually does continue to impress. That's mainly because of the bank earnings that were quite good, and that's usually tied to the Russell. So that's found a bit more strength than the others, but also, just like the others, I think it will fail at its next major resistance. In this case, it's 200. So I just feel like the markets may retrace here, come back, but they have a lot of support on the way down. You've got the horizontal supports, you've got the ascending supports across the board. Dow Jones, here you go, that support will be prior resistance, and then if it keeps going, there'll be a lot of support around here, the ascending and the horizontal. Nasdaq, same thing. It really is the same thing. It's just the breakout zone will be support, and then just below the ascending. So the markets, I thought they've gone way too high for a long time, but I think they really will reverse for 1 or 2 days, and if they do come down, they do have a lot of support though, so you've got to respect the technical strength in the short term. Now moving on to the banks, they have had a decent run, really, like the Russell, but look at this, the XLF 35 for me, that's the level. That's the level over here. You can see it's touched it, so I think that should really come back down. KBE, KRE, they have nowhere near as much retracement to the upside, but look at this strength. Actually, that's more than I thought. Resistance in this case, you can see where I think it is 42.5/44.25. So I think 42.5 to 44, this little tram zone here should be a lot of resistance if it gets there. KRE, exactly the same thing, but even more of a move to make up for. And this is impressive, but I don't think we get all the way up here. And what a short this will be, because I don't think the banking crisis has gone away at all. So that's the banks, and that also, obviously, that's from the bank earnings so far being very strong, and that's really helped the Russell. So the market keeps going up. In this case, because of earnings. Let's check out interest rates very quickly. Okay, you can ignore this spike. For me, the 1 year is a bit special. I think we're just going to go sideways and higher. I don't deny that it's possible that we retrace a bit more, but I just don't see us going all the way back down unless we have a banking crisis. So for the 1 year, I just see sideways and then up. I don't see why that will change. The 2 year, I've said it in prior videos, we're just going to go sideways here. We could go a little higher, then we'll go back down. But I think we just grind sideways and ultimately actually go higher, because I don't think inflation is going away. I think the next time numbers come out indicating that, rates will start to move up. The markets will probably move down accordingly, right? So if inflation is up, that means the Fed tightening will continue. 5 years, same thing. It's all just sideways. You can see my prior note. That's pretty much what I think is going to happen, just sideways and then break out higher. 10 year, same thing, all the same thing. 30 year, just a bit weaker maybe, but same thing. You can see it just dropped a bit more, ultimately sideways here. So my thesis has not changed on interest rates at all. If we look at the European interest rates, yes. See, I was wondering about this. Is this going to flush and go lower? But ultimately, it looks like we're going sideways still. So for me, interest rates sideways at the lows and actually slowly higher. Now the British have actually gone a bit lower. That's interesting. Anyway, moving swiftly on, because these files are way too big and they take way too long to download. Let's check out the dollar, probably the most important asset class. Yeah, so this here, I thought we were going to go find a bit of support here, and then bounce and maybe test 100.8/101, and then fail and roll over. And look, that's exactly what we've done so far. Is this the test, or do we actually grind a bit sideways and then really test 101? It is possible, but so far, extremely weak bounce. Look at this, just the worst couple of candles. And then a little support here at 100, just under 100. Makes sense, right? The trend lines were identified, also the psychological number. Plus, it was just due for a technical bounce. And here we have it. And look at that failure. Closed way lower than the high of the day. So far, okay, today is very, very young. But just, if we don't go higher, we're just going to flush 99 straight away and go. To be honest, if we flush this already, we're going to go to the 97 zone. I've seen a lot of people with their different numbers. For me, I see support right here. Keeping it simple, orderly decline, nothing, no cascade, no dramatic cascade. I just see a little flush of this, and then for me, a move down to 90, sort of 97.8ish, 98 is sufficient for another bounce, and then just lower lows, lower highs, but first a pit stop around 97.8. So, but let's see, maybe we do actually go a little higher, and if we do take out this, we should go to 101. I don't see us taking out 100.5 and just going to 100.8. Probably will just go to 101 and then go down, but so far very weak. If this is the run up, this is beautifully weak. So that's the dollar. Commodities, again, sorry for the speed. Some of you might like it though. Copper. Yeah, so copper bouncing a little bit here. It's okay, I thought we'd go a bit lower, but then again, I thought the dollar would go higher. So far, we're bouncing here. It makes sense. The dollar's already been a bit weak. And, so far today, the dollar's red. It's a very, very young day, but that, therefore copper's green. So that's fine. I still think copper will take out 395 and then squeeze above 4, go to 420. So for me, that doesn't change. So let's see how the dollar does. But for me, so far, copper's fine. Natural gas, beautiful stuff. I did mention this fake flush that it needed to do here to make it bullish. It did it twice, and now look at it, still stuck within this tight triangle. We just need to close above this 2.65 would be great, and then we can run higher. But really, this could happen quickly. We could have 1 or 2 candles, and then bam, we're at 2.9, and then everyone's bullish, and then we're straight at 3, and then once you're at 3, you're squeezing out of this triangle. So natural gas is like a couple of trading days away from a potential huge squeeze. Now, I've seen a few news articles out there about Europe being toast in terms of natural gas if there's more supply restrictions related to Russia, let's say. So natural gas, come on, it's due for a huge squeeze, and now technically it's just coiled. So I like natural gas. Oil, yeah, sideways. Maybe it's just waiting for the dollar to flush, but this is good so far, strong. Not super bearish, not super bullish right now, but let's see what happens. I still think we're going to go to 80 and actually 82. So let's see about oil. Uranium, not much, just sideways here. This is a bit like gold actually, which we're going to get to literally right after uranium. I think we're just going to go sideways and pop. So I don't know if the dollar's going to affect it more. I think the market actually affects uranium more than the dollar, but I might get that wrong just from what I've looked at passively in the last few weeks. But sideways are basically up, definitely up. Remember the long time picture. When in doubt, zoom out. Okay, gold and silver. This has been absolutely beautiful. So here, had a huge pop. I thought we'd go sideways for no, it was here, sorry. I thought we'd go sideways a bit longer. I thought we'd have a Tuesday sideways, but no, we went all the way up. And then yesterday, sideways day. I did expect a sideways day because we went all the way up to resistance. So if you're not going to close above resistance on that day, you're going to go sideways. And look at this, it's just perfect within the trend lines. It touched support. For me, you had resistance was 1970, 1980 on the way up. Went straight through 1970, touched 1980, and then we tagged the next day 1970. Sideways. And so far now, even though the day is young, I think it's a bit significant. We've already popped our head above 1980. 1983, 4, 5. Look at this. 1987. We're almost at 1990. So today, if we just close above 1983, this line here, that's good enough. But we may even run today. I don't even know what the news is. There's so many news releases every day. It almost doesn't matter. But I think if it's not today, it could be tomorrow. Just a squeeze, a squeeze to 2000 and ultimately get to 2020, like I've said. So gold looks great still. This is really strong. Look at this. Move up, consolidation, move up, consolidation, move up. Already just moving up faster and faster. Fewer days of consolidation. But this consolidation day on Wednesday was perfect in my opinion. Very strong looking stuff. Silver is just continuing to ignore the consolidation of gold. Almost just goes up and up, just stronger and stronger every day. I really thought that we would consolidate a bit lower. It didn't do that, and it just kept going. Tuesday, new highs. Wednesday, this is supposed to be the consolidation day where you touch the low, the other support. That's what gold did. No, it went even higher. I mean, not by much, but still, it went to new highs even on Wednesday, and obviously today we're again high. Not sure if it's still got the strength, but even if it retraces, it's shown me and others, I think, enough that this thing wants to get to 26, and I can't believe we're there already. Remember this drop, how weak silver looked, how many people were super bearish, the people who were really bullish up here, super bearish there. It's all technicals. In this case, it bounced a bit higher than the general ascending. I would have loved to buy it there, but that's what the market does. It plays with you a bit, did nibble a little bit, and here we go. I think we go to 26, and to be honest, for me, I stick to what I said. I think if gold starts to breach 2000, which it could do today, once we close, whatever, it doesn't even need to close above 83. It could do it today. It could just squeeze above 2000. I still think we get to 2020 and then retrace a bit. Maybe still close above 2000. But I think once we start doing this move above 2000, silver's going to be running and testing 26. And if we're closing above 2000, definitely 2020, definitely 2050, silver will be closing above 26, and that's all it needs to do to then run at 27. And once you're talking about a run to 27, now we're in the unprecedented territory. Now, I know we've been there before months ago, but this will be, this will be the 30. This will be the time to run to 30. So that will be absolutely monumental times, and we could just be days away from that. So watch gold, watch silver, watch the dollar, and it makes sense, the dollar just rolling over. That should indicate gold and silver to new highs. The miners, they're following more gold than silver, but obviously we haven't got the Thursday candle yet, but you can see that was the consolidation, just like gold, just hitting the lower part of the trend lines. This is like the 1970s equivalent. So where will we be to get today? If everything remains as it is, we could just have a little gap higher. But basically, I want to see a close above 33 on the GDX, and then we run. I think if silver starts to go for 26, GDX is not allowed to be too far behind in terms of a run to 36. So silver 26 should mean GDX goes to 36. Not in one go, because that's a lot of catching up to do, but I really don't see why it wouldn't. GDXJ, and I'm not even talking about the downside, as you can tell, so that indicates how bullish I am. GDXJ a little stronger, it's just gone a little higher, but you can see same thing. GDXJ is tested the support on Wednesday, this 39-ish area, and yeah, I think we're going to run today. If everything continues to look good, 40, close above 40 would be great, and then ultimately 42, 44, another 10% run. So let's see if we can get gold to close above 2000. Close above 2020 would be amazing, but close above 2000, and silver, let's try and test 26. I have to end it there because the size of the files are too big. I'm using PowerPoint instead of Zoom, and I've got a different laptop. I've got really bad equipment. The internet's slow. But I'm on holiday in Sardinia with loads of children and dogs. It's just that's why I haven't been able to do my daily videos. Hopefully this one is uploaded correctly. Anyway, good luck out there. Very exciting times.